But we're going to start with Ozzie, and then Coach Harbaugh, and then Q, and then we'll do photos after that. After the questions with Anquan, then we'll start John Harbaugh's regular. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. If my count is correct, this is the 6th guy that have retired a Raven, and 5 of them played for other teams. Ladarius never played for another team, am I correct? So I think what that says to me is that this organization does a very good job, and it begins at the top with Steve. You know, when we are in the process of evaluating players, whether it's for the draft, free agency, for trades, we have a lot of information that we get, and we try to process it. But normally we get to a point that we ask ourselves, is he a football player? And does he play like a Raven? And Anquan fits both of those. I can remember when he came out in the draft, and you know, he was getting beat up for a lot of different reasons, but the scout in that area kept saying he's a football player. You know, he gets drafted by Arizona. He goes to Arizona, and we were fortunate enough to get involved in a trade with Anquan. And I can remember the day that I finalized it because I was on my way to get my hair cut. And I was talking with Tom Condon about the contract because we had to get the contract worked out before I could make the trade with Rod Graves and the Arizona Cardinals. Anquan came here, and not only did he impact on the field, he was huge in the locker room, and he was huge in the community. And even now, you know, in the NFL community across the league, you know, Anquan is still playing a big part with the social justice stuff. You know, having him here, watching him on the field practice, watching him in games, he had some pretty good hands. Close to somebody else I know, and I'm not talking about Shannon Sharp either. But you know, Anquan made a lot of contested catches. I mean, when Joe would throw it in there, and Anquan would make the catch. So thank you, Anquan, for those years, and Coach Harbaugh.
Thanks, Oz. Thanks, Ozzie, and thanks, Anquan, you know, for many, many things, and most of all, the man that you are, the family man that you are, and the example that you set for our young guys, you know, to show them how it's done as a professional football player, but as a family man first, and a man of faith. And that's, to me, what sets the culture here and the value system is players that live that and embody that every single day for the young guys to see it. And then it takes on a life of its own. It's like planting a seed, right? And the next thing you know, it's a harvest. And we've got that here with our team right now. And I think you and the guys like you that were here in those years, 10, 11, 12, those years are the years that kind of set the tone for this organization, for the team that we are right now. So I'll thank you for that. But also for all the plays that you made. And I can remember us having a conversation your first year, 2 big conversations. The first year, kind of in training camp and early in the year, about, you know, we were having a tough time, you know, Joe was having a tough time figuring you out a little bit, right, remember? And basically we both had the same thought, and we let Joe know, it's just put it on Anquan. Don't worry that there's a defender there. There is no defender there. You know, as if there's no defender there, throw it to him. He will catch it. Doesn't need anything, doesn't need separation. His separation is the fact that he's going to make a contested catch, and he's going to come down with the ball. And how true did that end up being, right, over the years? We all saw it. And then there was the Arizona game the first year when they came in. We were down at halftime, Ozzie, by a pretty good amount. And Anquan came up and he said, just tell Joe to throw me the ball. Just tell Joe to throw me the ball. And how many catches did you have and touchdowns? That you won the game by yourself, basically, in the second half. That was a big win. And then, of course, you know, all the wins in between, but then the Super Bowl, you know, and the touchdown catch and the third down catch, plays that had to be made. That's the difference between winning those games and not winning those games, is players making plays in big moments. And that's what Anquan Boldin did. And the fact that you want to retire a Raven is probably one of the biggest honors that we've ever had around here. And hey, you know, I think we all wish you'd have been here for 3 or 4 more years and finished up here. And we've only got ourselves to blame for that, Ozzie. Okay? We can address the elephant in the room here too. You know, yeah. And that's okay too. You know, we get it, you know, and yeah, we're not afraid to confront that. You know, it's just, but you're back and you're a Raven, and just, you know, won us a championship. You know, you did it, and we're very grateful, and congratulations. So.
Well, first off, I would like to say thank you to the Raven organization. You know, Ozzie for bringing me in here, Coach Harbaugh. I mean, this is truly a first-class organization, starting with Mr. Bishotti at the top. You know, for me, it's definitely an honor to retire Raven. I've played with 4 different organizations, but there's no other organization, I would say, that has had the impact on myself and my family like this organization. You know, I was in Arizona my first 7 years. You know, I played 3 here, 3 in San Francisco, and then finished my last year in Detroit. But I can truly say this organization, this community embraced us fully from the first day we got here. I remember, you know, coming over from Arizona, we were pregnant with our youngest, and my oldest son was, you know, 6 years old at the time. And our first day moving here, it was tough because my wife was actually just getting cut off from traveling. She was that far along. And, you know, moving in, how the organization stepped in, helped us with everything, how truly grateful we were. Having, I mean, just neighbors who, the first day we got here, invited us over to a cookout. And I remember that starting every Friday, us getting together as a community and having a cookout with about 18 kids in the community. I mean, it was a joy. And just to see, you know, the fan base, how they embraced us, the winning culture here. I mean, everything about it is a first-class organization. And, I mean, there's still people in the organization to this day that I keep in contact with, have opportunity to go to dinners and things like that. And that's not common in a lot of organizations. A lot of times it's just you see the coaches and the players that usually have a relationship, but not outside of that. But here, I mean, you talk about Val, Craig, Darren, all those. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that we've kept in contact with, people that have had an impact on our lives. And we truly appreciate you guys and how you took us in as family. So, you know, this day is special for not only myself, but my wife and my 2 boys, because we truly feel like, you know, we are Ravens for life, and we know we appreciate you guys for accepting us. So.
Next question. Any questions of Anquan?
Anquan, how long ago did you decide you wanted to do this, and kind of take us through the process between, you know, and coming home and doing this?
I mean, for us, it had always been a thought of ours to retire as a Raven. Although, you know, we didn't finish here playing career-wise, but it was always our thought to come back and finish up as a Raven.
Anquan, one thing that people always said when you played here was how well you fit, and really with the physical style that the Ravens played, physical style you brought to the wide receiver position. Is there a specific moment or a point when you got here that you really knew that this was going to be a good and special fit for you?
Yeah, actually for me, I kind of realized that before I got here. I was telling somebody the story. A lot of people don't know I was actually trying to get here before I actually got here. It was 2 years prior. I was in Arizona, and we played in the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. And back then, you played in the Super Bowl, and then the Pro Bowl was the following week. So we ended up getting to the Pro Bowl about that Wednesday. And me and Ray actually had a conversation poolside, and that was the whole conversation, trying to figure out how I was going to get here, how we were going to make it happen. 'Cause the only thing on his mind was, man, we got to beat Pittsburgh. Like, can you help us do that? And I told him, you know, get me there and I'll take care of it. So me trying to become a Raven, you know, it happened 2 years prior to.
Anquan, do you ever think about what might have happened had you not been traded?
Yeah. You know, for me, you know, I was brought here to do a job. And you know, the one thing I felt good about leaving here was that I helped accomplish that job. You know, I was brought in to help, you know, bring a championship to the city. And, you know, I was able to help do that. So, you know, you understand the business side of it. That wasn't my first time being traded. So, but I did want to, you know, make sure that when I left here, you know, I did everything in my power to make this a better organization, and just to continue to play that way.
And Anquan, you've had so many big moments, you know, with the Ravens, the Super Bowl, you know, the comeback against the Cardinals. Is there a moment that stands out for you as being a member with the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Super Bowl parade actually stands out. I mean, just being able to share that moment with this entire city. You know, having schools shut down, businesses shut down, you know, everybody out in the streets celebrating this organization. And that's, you know how much this organization means to the city of Baltimore. So to be able to share that moment with them was amazing.
After you did get traded, it seemed like the fans didn't get over it for years. I mean, people talk about it. Did that almost feel like sort of the final, you know, sign of their love?
Definitely. You know, I still get hit up from fans asking, you know, would I come back for another year or so? But, you know, it does show, you know, how much this fan base embraced us. And I was definitely appreciative of it. That's why every time I stepped on the field, I tried to give it my all.
How fulfilling has your social activism and the Players Coalition, all the stuff you're doing, how fulfilling has that been in your post-NFL career?
For me, it's been very fulfilling. You know, it's the reason I stepped away from football. You know, I felt like God was calling me to do something different. I had a chance to live out my dream, but there's just some things that are bigger than football. There's some things that are bigger than, you know, things that you want to achieve personally. And I felt like starting the Players Coalition and affecting change in this country was one of those things.
And along those lines, how did your time in Baltimore, your 3 years here, maybe affect how you viewed your work in the community? Did that impact on?
Well, for me, I've always been involved in the communities that I played in. Still are actively involved in all of those communities. But I think the thing that sparked me the most was just losing my cousin. You know, my cousin was gunned down by an officer after he had just broke down on the side of the road. So that was something that really hit me. And I just didn't want any other family to go through that. So for me, that really sparked me getting involved in social justice, because, you know, I'm like a lot of other people. You know, you see it, and, you know, it happens so much in our country to actually sometimes you get numb to it. And although you are sympathetic, it's a different thing once it hits your front door. So when you have to deal with it personally, it affects you in a different way.
Okay?
Good.
Guys, we'll do 2 pictures. We'll do one with the group up on the stage now, and then we'll ask Anquan to bring up your family.
Sure.
Get the whole group with your family, and then a separate one with your family, please.
Okay.
All right?
Where do you want us to around the picture or?
Yeah, around the picture. Q, if you could get up tight here, and that's it. John, on you, get a little tighter, came from sideways, please. And then, guys, you want to join on stage here? We'll do 2, one with the whole group, and then one family, then one with just Anquan and his family, please.
How are you organizing
Now we're getting somebody in charge.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is that better?
All right, and then one more, just with the Anquan family, please. Karen, you want to set that up? Good? Everybody? All right. Thank you, Anquan, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll be watching for you.